Okay. Descriptive measures of a data set. So when given a data set, we want to know what it's like. And so one way to get some idea of what it's like is what's called measures of center. All right, so those mean, median, and mode of a data set are considered measures of center. Okay? These are each a single value that indicates what typical values in the data set are like. Okay, so that's important. So can we have kind of a one number that gives us an idea of what the data values are like? So here's below is a mean sample of the weights of 10 watermelons and the mean value of a sample of 10 grapefruit. Which is which? So 0.7 pounds would be an indication of the weight of what kind of fruit? Watermelon or grapefruit? And 7 pounds would be the indication of watermelon or grapefruit. Does it make sense? So you have this mean weight. It's like a very typical data value in the set. Grapefruits are around 0.7 pounds. They're less than a pound. Okay, but maybe a big grapefruit weighs a pound and a small grapefruit weighs half a pound. But they're all around 0.7 pounds, and so this measure of center gives us an idea of what the weight of grapefruit is. And then 7 pounds. Okay, this is clearly more like watermelons, right? Watermelons are heavy for fruit, right? Okay, so the mean of the data set is the sum of the observations divided by the number of observations. You've all calculated your mean test scores, your mean test score in a class, right? Your average, it's the arithmetic average. That's what the mean of a data set is. Okay, the median is the middle data value when ordering the data from least to greatest. Okay, so half of the data values are higher than the median, half of the data values are lower than the median. Okay, and then the mode is the data of a data set is the data value with the highest frequency. It's the most frequently occurring data value. Okay, so the mean is pretty straightforward. You just sum up the data values and divide by the number of data values, and you get this average, this kind of middle value for all of them. The median and the mode have some extra explanation that's needed. Okay, the median. So we arrange the data in increasing order. And if you have an odd number of observations, then you truly have a data value that's in the middle, right? But if you have an even number of observations, then there's no one middle value, because you have, if you divided it in two, you'd have two halves of the data set and no true middle value. So then what you do there is you take the mean, the average of the two middle values. So just a real simple example here. If our data set was 1, 4, 6, 6, 7, 8, 10, what would the median be? Okay, so here's our data set. So we count. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So does this have a true middle value? There's 7. Yeah, because you're going to have, so it's like if you subtract 1, 6, there'll be 3, and then there'll be the middle value, and then there'll be 3 more, right? So we'll have, here's 7. So we're going to take, and this is how you can find it, n plus 1 over 2. So there's, n is the number of values in the data set. Okay, and so then you're going to take n plus 1. So in this case, n equals 7. So we're going to take 7 plus 1 over 2, and that's 4. So the fourth data value will be the middle value, 1, 2, 3, 4. Which makes sense because that leaves 3 above, or 3 that are less, and 3 that are greater. So that's the median. Okay, another data set. So here's a data set. What does n equal in this data set? What's n? N is 4. Okay, so is there a middle value? Is one of those truly the middle value? No. So, what we need to do then is we need to take the average of the two middle values. So the average of 1008 and 1012 is? That one you can do without thinking. It's halfway between those two. So 1010 is the median of this data set. But notice 1010 is not one of the data values. It's not one of the data values, but that's how we do the median because there is no single middle value. There's two middle values, so we got to take the average of those two. Does it make sense? So if we do this n plus 1 over 2 in this thing, then n plus 1 over 2 would be n plus 1, would be 4 plus 1 over 2, would be 5 over 2, or 2.5. So you see that 2.5 is indicating 1, 2.5. It's indicating there, we're going to get a value that's kind of halfway between 2 and 3. You see? So this n plus 1 over 2, if you have a long data, n is a large data set, then this formula can help you get what number in the order the median is. Okay, questions on finding the median? Okay, mode. So there's a few extra things to talk about with the mode. So it's the most frequent data value. If no value occurs more than once, then the set has no mode. So if every data value is distinct, there's no repeats at all, then there's no mode. Okay, otherwise, any value that occurs with the greatest frequency is a mode. So you could have more than one mode. So if in a data set, say our watermelons, so say that there are so here's our sample of watermelons. So what's the mode of this data set?
6.8.
Yep, there are two modes because so the most frequently occurring data value occurs twice, but there's two of those. So there's two 6.8s and there's two 7.2s. So both of those are modes. If we had one more 7.2 in the data set, then only 7.2 would be the mode because it would have 3 now, and that would have 2. Make sense? All right, let's just, for data set 2, so we can do this fast. Just for data set 2, find the mean, median, and mode. You can work together. So get a partner, find the mean, median, and mode for just data set number 2. Okay, let's see if we have consensus. So this notation right here is mean. X stands for quantitative variable. Maybe this is prices of tablets, electronic tablets. Okay, and so our quantitative, so that's X. X is prices of computer tablets. Okay? Then you can use subscripts to denote each individual one. So this is like X1, and then this one X2, the second data value, X3, X4, X5, etc. 6, 7, 8, so there's 10. So this would be X10 here. So then Xi is just generically, it means the ith data value. Does that make sense? Whatever the subscript is the number of the data value that we've got. Okay? So X sub I just generically means any particular data value. So I is this number 1, 2, 3, 4. So X sub 4 here is 450. Then X bar is the mean. So X with a bar over is the mean of the data. So that's some notation that you'll see and we'll be using in the future. What did you get for the mean? 474? And what'd you get for the median? 300? Yeah, you should. There's two middle values. And they're both 300. So the fourth in the list was 300, and the fifth in the list was 300. So the average of 300 and 300 is 300. 350. Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking. Okay, yeah. So I was thinking that there was 8 data values. There's 10 data values. Yeah. So since n is 10, you're right. So the fifth data value is 300, and the sixth data value is 400. Is that right? And so the mean is 350. Thank you. And what's the mode? Okay, so now this is a really important point here. Which is the best one for looking at the measure of center of this data set? Would you say the mean or the median or the mode? What's the best indicator of the price of a computer tablet? Which of these three? Okay, maybe the median. Okay, so maybe the median. And why not the mean? Why? What's going on with this? Why is that so high? Yeah, it's shifting. There's two values here that are way higher than the rest. And it's shifting the mean up. Whereas a better indication of maybe the center or a typical price of a tablet is 350. These two values, so they'll be X3 and X10, are called outliers. Or sorry, X9. X3 and X9 are outliers. So what do? They're pulling the mean up. They're pulling the mean up. And so that's the idea of right skewed. So because they're pulling the mean up, what does this data set look like? The distribution looks like this. Okay, we got all the 300s down here. We have a couple 350s and 400s, and then we have these two out here that are around 1,000. So what is it? It's right skewed. Those outliers at the top of the data set are pulling the mean to the right. So these outliers create a right skew. We talked about that before. Okay, we're over. I'll let you go.